Hey, welcome back to the Elevate Podcast. I'm Reggie.
And I'm Ebony, and today we're diving into part 2 of our powerful conversation with Coach Raheem Shabazz. As mentioned last week, Coach Shabazz is not only a personal trainer to elite athletes and everyday individuals, he's also a powerful motivational speaker who's passionate about helping people elevate from the inside out.
Listen, if you missed last week's episode 11, do yourself a favor and go to Elevate Now Podcast and check it out. This episode was absolutely packed. Coach Shabazz dropped so much wisdom about building strength from the inside out, mindset, movement, mastering your health, that we knew we had to keep this conversation going.
Yep, so in this episode, we're picking up right where we left off. Coach Shabazz is breaking down his non-negotiables when it comes to health, those must-do habits that he sticks to no matter what.
And he's also giving us his unfiltered thoughts on the rise of GLP-1 weight loss drugs. You don't want to miss what he has to say about this, trust me.
So whether you're just starting your wellness journey or looking to elevate your routine, this one's for you.
Let's get right into it. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get right into it. Like I said in the intro, Coach Shabazz is going to give us his thoughts in this episode about some of his non-negotiables when it comes to health, some things he just will not, compromise on. And I was really interested in what he had to say about the GLP-1s, things like Ozempic and Wegovy and some of the other ones that's out there. The things that people are, the diabetic medication really is what it is that people are taking for weight loss. Mm-hmm. Definitely want to check that out. But, Ebony, as I listened to the first episode probably 30 times since last week, I saw an underlying story developing in addition to the information he was giving us about health, and that was his personal journey from being an employee in a job that he did not like to being an entrepreneur and following his passion. And it really clicked for me because I was thinking, dang, this is exactly who we made the podcast for.
Right. That's exactly who we made it for. And like we said before, so many of our peers we've talked to, and they're in a position where they feel too invested in what they're currently doing to just give it up because it's education, time, experience. But they still feel like there's something else out there for them, whether that is to replace what they're currently doing or in addition to what they're currently doing. So his journey plays right into our whole thrust for this podcast.
That's exactly right. So again, in addition to the health nuggets you're getting, I want you all to watch his journey because, this, we couldn't have written a better script. So actually, I want to play an excerpt from last week, just to take the listener's mind back to it. Stay with us 1 second. Here it is.
And at the time I was working a job I hated. I'm sitting. I'm an athlete, so I'm sitting in the cubicle all day, about to lose it. Like, bro, come on, man, I'm bored out of my mind. What am I doing here? This is not what I'm supposed to be doing. So when she came with that, I'm like, okay, cool. Let's dig into this. So initially, my very first certification, we did the research. It was $600. It was a 3-day course. You finish, you certified. Mm-hmm. But at the time, $600 was a lot. Right. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, baby, I don't want to put no strain on us because that's a lot of money for certifications. And again, my wife being a thinker, she said, look, we put up this $600. You're gonna get that back within your first 3 clients. Mm-hmm. And how right she was, because I didn't even realize that there were people that I already knew that were like, you about to be a trainer? I want to train with you.
Mm-hmm. Right off the bat.
So they're already ready to start.
Right. Yeah, so one of the things that stuck out to me about his story was that he was so frustrated in his current position.
Right.
And when you are not in alignment with, when what you are doing is not in alignment with your passion, then that creates frustration.
Really
that doesn't mean that the job is bad, the company is bad, the position is bad. It's just not what you were designed to do.
You're out of place.
You're out of place,
You're like a fish can look really silly when it's out of water, but if you put it in water, then the brilliance shows up.
Right.
Because the fish was out of place. Mm-hmm. So for some of you all out there, again, that frustration you're feeling, that uneasiness you're feeling, that Monday morning blues, it's because you're just out of place.
Right.
You're not following your passion. Mm-hmm. That stood out to me, too. The next thing that stood out to me that I said, wow, that's crazy, it was the immediately the initial roadblock, the $600 for the first certification. When you make a decision to do something different, there are going to be legitimate roadblocks that will make it easier to continue to stay where you are.
You can't turn around at the first roadblock.
Well, you can.
You shouldn't.
You shouldn't, right.
If you turn around at the first roadblock, then you really need to do some soul searching to see how bad you want whatever is on the other side of that roadblock.
Right, exactly. But here's what I want the listeners to get is that they're going to be there. And they're going to be legit. And it would be much easier to say, you know what, maybe now's not the time. Maybe I'm not quite ready. Maybe, let me just keep doing what I'm doing. I'll get back to this in a couple of years or whatever the case may be. But again, just know the roadblock is going to be there and it's going to be 100% legit.
And his wife helped lift him over that roadblock.
Oh, yeah.
She was there encouraging him the whole time.
If you remember, and I don't think we played that part of the story, she gave him the idea.
Exactly.
And then when the first roadblock presented itself, she gave him the encouragement to push through. She said, hey, we're going to get that money back. And then he says how right she was. Again, y'all, it makes so much difference who you have around you. You can't change the people around you, but you can change the people you're around.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So if you're trying to elevate, you're trying to go to a different level, if the people around you not doing that, hey, it's time to move on.
It is. Definitely is. Another thing for me was the fact that people were waiting for him to be ready. But he didn't even know those people were out there. So his wife said, we'll make it back with the first 2 or 3 clients. In his head, there weren't any clients.
Right.
But as soon as he made the decision, moved forward, and was ready, those people were already there waiting on him.
Man, that's powerful.
Very powerful.
Yeah, it's things happening in the background right now that for your benefit. I always say it all the time. God plays chess while we playing checkers. It's things being moved around, pieces being moved on the board for your benefit. Because you don't see it don't mean it's not happening. But you have to be in a position. The one thing about it, God is not going to force you to get in position for your blessings.
True.
He sets them up, but again, you have to be at the right place where He intended for you to be, man. So let's just keep it going.
Man, there were so many hidden nuggets in the first episode. One that stuck out to me was his first encounter with the manager at JCC.
Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one.
Take a listen.
My head is hanging, and I'm like, babe, I don't know what's going on. She's like, well, try this place. I'm like, all right, cool. So I go over there, and I asked specifically for the manager of personal training. Nicest lady. I'll never forget her name is Lauren Carr, her husband Austin Carr. They both worked at the JCC. Okay. Great people. Love them to this day. So she was nice enough to say this. She said, well, we don't have any openings for trainers right now, but what I'll let you do based off what you want to do, put on a free clinic for athletes. And I'm like, okay.
So, Evan, let me jump in right here. One of the things immediately that I thought about when I heard him say that was a book we read a while back with our book club. I think it was 11 Forgotten Laws by Bob Proctor.
Okay.
There's a chapter that's on the law of receiving. This entire I can remember like yesterday when we read this chapter. It's about how do you receive? How do you receive? In its entire chapter on receiving, it was about giving. That's what the chapter was about. And as soon as he said that, so this lady at the JCC says to him, what I will allow you to do is give us a free class.
Right.
or the athletes or something. You know what I'm saying?
Some people will look at that and say that that's not an opportunity, but that is an opportunity.
That's exactly right.
You won't always be able to dictate how the opportunities come, just if you're going to take advantage of them or not.
Right, and you don't always they don't come packaged up the way you may think they're going to come. But the thing about it is you have to be willing to give before you're going to receive. People ask me all the time, why do you do so many free financial seminars? I've done that for years, 2 decades. 2 decades of free financial seminars, and the proof is in the pudding.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? So that jumped out at me when he said that he gave free clinics to athletes. And I tell you what, if we got time, we can jump right back into it and people can hear the results of what happened with that.
Before we do that, I always like the analogy that you give with the fire and the wood.
Oh, yes, exactly right. So if your mind's made up that you're going to receive before you give, that's like you sitting in front of an empty fireplace and demanding that it gives you heat, and then you'll put the wood in.
That's not how it works.
That's just not how it works, y'all. If you want heat, you got to put the wood in, and then it'll give you heat. But here's the thing: as you make your transition, as you go to this next level, make up your mind. What are you willing to give in exchange for what it is you want to receive?
Man, all right.
So I'll do this, and one day it'll be speed, one day it'll be agility, and literally the first day 2 kids showed up. The second day 3 kids showed up. So I'm looking at numbers like, oh, this sucked.
Right,
But that's progress.
But it's progress. Not only was it progress, both of them 2 kids went and told their mamas, man, we just went to this camp. Oh my God, it was incredible.
Oh, wow. Yep, see that part right there. He said 2 kids showed up the first day of this free clinic that he's giving. 3 kids the second day. Looks like it's not gonna, it's not a hit. Just 3 kids. But again, you don't know what's happening in the background. We won't rehash this whole part. Just go back and listen to last week's episode on this. But I will give you the punchline. These 2 to 3 kids led, person after person was falling in place. It led to a firestorm that's still burning today. Hundreds, maybe even thousands of people's lives have been changed just because he was willing to give this free clinic
Before receiving.
Powerful concept. Don't ever forget that, y'all.
Okay, Reggie, before this segment ends, there is one more part from last week's episode that I want to highlight. When I asked him what led him to start training individuals as well as athletes.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Y'all check this out.
And then I understood even the trainer-client dynamic in terms of strangers buying in more so than the ones that's closest to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, meaning that if my sister, my niece, my cousin is 400 pounds, and Raheem goes to them saying, hey, man, we can do this. Man, Raheem, man, come on, man. You don't know nothing. Man, you just Raheem.
Right.
But a client who reaches out to me who said, man, I need to lose this weight, brother. I saw what you've been doing, and I think you can help me, and I will listen to whatever you say. And then they do it. This is a stranger. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about, I would take it so personal. I'm like, family.
Right.
Bro, what we doing?
I'm right here.
Y'all know me. I'm right here.
Yeah.
And a stranger is going to go, brother, I will listen to whatever you say, and I don't know you.
Man, Eb, I see why you wanted to jump back and underscore that. Go ahead. I know you got something you want to say on that, and then I got something I want to say to that as well.
It is an odd dynamic that the people who know you most may be the ones that trust you last.
Wow. It's so true.
And it's because people get comfortable seeing you in a place where they have always seen you.
Right.
So they need time. You may be making a transition, but the people closest to you need a chance. They have to make that transition as well.
Right.
So it's just an interesting dynamic.
Very much so. So here's what I want y'all to understand. As you move to and especially if what you're doing is service-oriented, meaning you're not offering a product, whatever your elevation move is, you're not going to be selling a product, but it's a service offering. Those closest to you, they're either going to be early adopters or the last adopters, right? And so you can't base what you're going to do or the success or demand for what you're doing off of these people, family, friends, church members, who may not be rocking with you like that right now. I can remember back, very easily how I would see people and I'm not going to name names, but I would see people who I just knew for a fact were going to use me as their advisor, and they would be working with somebody down the street. And I'm like, but we've been knowing each other for years. Exactly. It didn't matter because to them, I was just Reggie I grew up with, or that Reggie I went to church with, or Reggie or whoever. So but you got to push past that because I'm telling you that is, and it'll get in your head. It'll mess with you, man.
It will, and those same people need other people to validate you before they will start validating.
They'll start hearing your name being mentioned by so and so. Oh well, I know him. I've been knowing him, and now they want to come along. Boy, I almost told a very specific story on that, but anyway, I won't. But just know, push past that. And I'm gonna say this: push past it, even if you're one of the fortunate people where your entire circle immediately adopts. Because just because they with you doesn't mean you figured it out. What it is you're doing and that it's going to work.
Yeah, you can't build your business model on people that you know.
You absolutely cannot. Whatever it is you're going to do has to be accepted by the market at large, not just friends and family. So whether your friends and family are with you from the beginning or whether they're not, push past that. That's the point I want to make.
Yep. Well, I think that's the end of this segment.
So guys, stay with us as we get through this commercial break, pay a few bills, and remember, y'all, it's time to elevate.
Today's episode is sponsored by P3 Financial Group, where we enrich the lives of our clients by helping them plan, protect, and prosper. Call P3 for all your tax and financial planning needs at 901-209-4015. That's 901-209-4015.
Hey, Elevate fam. Are you a business or brand looking to get in front of an audience that's all about leveling up in life, business, and mindset? Then let's partner up. The Elevate podcast is now accepting sponsors. That means you can get your brand heard by a growing community of go-getters, creatives, and purpose-driven listeners right here on the show. Whether it's a product shout-out, an ad spot, or a custom collaboration, we've got options for you. Want in? Hit us up at elevatenowtraining.com. Let's elevate together. The content in this episode is for informational purposes only and is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the guidance of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you heard in this episode. The views and opinions expressed are those of the guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Elevate from Burnout to Bliss.
And we are back. So guys, now we're going to pick the conversation up with Coach Shabazz as he tells us how he was able to navigate his business through a very difficult time during the pandemic.
I would say 2016 to right up to 2020, right when COVID hit. Average class size, smallest class may have been 25 kids.
Okay.
Biggest class, easily 55, 60 kids.
Oh, wow.
In one session.
One session.
And we in there. And we rolling. COVID hits, and now a lot of parents are kind of leery about kids training in big groups. You know what I mean? So the numbers just plummeted. And then a lot of other trainers start sprouting up all over the place and, you know, doing this and doing that and stuff. So numbers went down. And I easily could have said, you know what? This ain't going where it need to go. What I saw, again, was being aligned and put in the right position, being put at the right place at the right time.
Right.
You know what I mean? And opportunities started to open up. Instead of big numbers as far as individual clients, more teams started to call me. More coaches started to call. You know what I mean? Now, instead of everybody coming to me, I would do a little bit more traveling going out. So it just shifted. And one of the biggest things that happened during that time was I did a lot more virtual training. Like FaceTime sessions. Or I would video a workout, send it out, and, you know, I had to close the facility for like 2.5 months. And during that time, I'm like, where is the income going to come from? So even in a parent blessing like this, I'm trying to figure out where is the money going to come from? How am I going to earn income if I can't get to work and nobody's going to come? Something said, do it for free. I'm like, well, God, that don't make no damn sense. Why would I do it for free? I'll make money. So he was like, I said, do it for free.
Right.
So what I did was, every day, I would post a free workout on all of my social media, tell all the kids, check in, let me know that you did it, screenshot that you did it, video it, send me the proof. Tag me in the workout. Then I noticed, the following week, I got a cash app from a client. Coach Shabazz, I know you're closed. I know we can't come this month. I wanted to send my fee for the month anyway.
Wow.
Come on.
And then 50 more clients did the exact same thing
Oh
out
my
of
gosh.
nowhere. And I didn't say a word. I didn't post, hey,
Oh my
look what
gosh.
happened. Out of nowhere. Then, P called me up. And he was like, he pulled up to the gym, talking smack, FaceTime me from the gym, talking about, bruh, where you at? You scared to play me one-on-one? Because I had a court in there. He pulled up to the gym, and he was like, because I think the two of us had even talked about what had happened and the fact that somebody had actually donated how much that hit me. And I'm like, bruh, they didn't have to do that. So he pulls up to the house. Hey, bro, come outside. Now I'm in the house. I don't even know this fool is even doing this.
Yeah.
So he comes up. I come outside, and Penny's a gigantic germaphobe. So he in this car with his mask on. He's outside with his mask. I'm like, bro, ain't nobody over here. Why you got on your mask?
Yeah.
So, like, bro, hey, I ain't trying to get sick. So he said, take this envelope, read this book when you go in the house. I said, what book, fool? Give me an envelope. It's in the envelope. All right, cool. He pulls off. I go in. I open the envelope. It's $5,000.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
Come on, man.
I said, man, hey, man. Bro, why did you...
Yeah.
Man.
Man, come on, man.
So, needless to say, it was a tough time. But when I say that, solidified my faith in God.
Yeah.
That time did.
Yes, sir.
Because I had no idea. Because I'm like, how is this even going to work?
Right.
They
right.
can't come.
Right.
How are we going to survive? And out of nowhere, and I'm like, hey, man, you just out here showing out. And I'm like, come on. So,
Man.
okay, so yeah.
That's what he does.
Yeah. So, I don't even know what the question was.
Hey.
But when I think about time, but times like that, and that's one of those things that has me to times like that is why I remember why I'm doing it. You know what I mean? Especially when it's hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somebody comes out of left field and I ain't going back, blah, 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 whatever. I'm like, all right. Then I remember times like this. And I remember situations like this. And I remember situations where a dad calls me out of nowhere. I'm sorry, a husband calls me out of nowhere, struggling at work. His relationship is failing because he gained so much weight.
Right.
And he's like, hey, man, if I don't do something, I'm going to lose everything. And I say to him, be here tomorrow, and I'm not charging you a dime. Just get here. I don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever. Tell these folks that I'll charge you $300 a month.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you just get here.
Right.
And we're going to take care of the rest later. And he lost 175 pounds.
Oh, wow.
He kept it off.
Yeah.
I think he may have gained maybe 15 of it back over 3 years, 4 years. But
Right.
we in the red still, 155. You know what I mean? So it's stuff like that why I want to say, man, forget these folks that did me wrong. But then I remember, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
Keep it moving. Keep going. Because just like I got you,
Right.
you got to have them.
You gotta have them, man. Heavy.
Oh, yeah, that's what did it.
Look, man, this is, man, conversation is absolutely insane. This is great. You and I have talked about it, but I would love for my listeners to get your perspective on what is probably the hottest trend in weight loss right now with the GLP-1 drugs and things of this nature.
Yep.
Let's get your. I want them to get your perspective on this drug, good, bad, and different, and just weigh in on that.
Okay, so I'll do it like this. Is it necessary? Yes. It's necessary for the ones who need it.
Okay.
It's a diabetes medicine.
Okay.
It's for people with diabetes. It ain't for people who are lazy, who don't want to go to the gym and put the work in.
Okay.
But those are the ones who abuse it. Because what do we look for? We look for a fast fix. We look for a quick fix. We look for a microwave mentality.
Right.
It got to happen fast or it ain't going to work. Now, here are the scientific drawbacks of doing GLP-1, doing Ozempic without a regular workout regimen and without the actual need for it. First off, you lose bone density, which now increases your chances of osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, hip fractures. We've always heard that our elderly fell and broke their hip.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But in reality, that process is actually backwards. The hip breaks, and then they fall. And the reason that is because our bones have become brittle and become so weak because our bone density has gotten so thin, and all of our weight is in that area.
Gotcha.
That's how it happens. I had a former client walk up to me at church. I think I was telling, I can't remember if I was telling y'all this morning, or nope, I was telling my cousin this morning. Came up to me at church, Coach Shabazz, I lost all this weight. I said, well, good, what have you been doing? I've been taking a shot. So you're not a diabetic? No, I know I'm not. I just wanted to lose some weight. I said, well, how you doing in the gym? I don't go to the gym. But what I've noticed is that I've become very small and very weak. That is what it does. It depletes your testosterone levels. It depletes your bone density. It limits your protein synthesis, which promotes muscle growth and muscle stability and muscle strength.
Gotcha.
So when you do one without the other, the effects are detrimental. That's why a lot of people. It was Terrence. It was Big Terrence this morning. He asked because he was asking me. He said, Coach, this lady is taking this shot, and all she eats is a chicken breast and a half a cup of vegetables and some rice, and that's all she eats all day, and she looks malnourished. I said, she is malnourished.
Right.
Yeah.
She is, because she's not getting any nourishment into her body. My dad, my pops, he takes Ozempic. He's diabetic.
Gotcha.
That's why he takes it.
Right.
You know what I mean? He said, Raheem, as soon as this weight is where it needs to be, I'm getting off of this shot. Because I don't want to be dependent on it. I said, Pops, how are you doing in the gym? The workout that I actually, now my dad he's 73. Yep, 73 years old. Still walking around, 6'3", about 225. But again, he's diabetic, so obviously he has to be extremely a stickler about everything he puts into his body. So it's helped him tremendously because he had to keep his sugar levels at a certain place. Yeah, he has to make sure his weight stays down. But again, when you use something that's not geared for the proper use, then it becomes to your detriment.
Right.
When you don't lift weights, when you don't strength train, then your body loses muscle fibers and your bones become brittle and frail, and the likelihood of fracture and breaks increases 78%.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? So it's a guarantee that you're hurting this. Yeah, you're small. And that's about it.
But
You're small.
Yeah.
Everything now has shrunk. Your muscle fibers, that's why you look that way. Your bones, your bone structure, that's why it looks that way. That's why your face looks sunk in and you don't look healthy. Because you're abusing something that you're not using it for its proper use.
Gotcha.
So it's necessary for those that, and I'll say this very, very quickly again, weight loss surgery is necessary. For extreme cases.
For extreme cases, yeah.
I lost my oldest sister because she thought that she needed weight loss surgery. I said, baby, how much you weigh? 260? Baby, you don't need no weight loss surgery. You need to bring your ass to the gym every day.
Right.
Just come. But what I knew about my sister, she was brilliant and stubborn. And when she said she was thinking about doing it, she had already done it or knew she was about to do it. And ever since she had her weight loss surgery, her health started to deteriorate and fail, and it spiraled, and it kept spiraling, and I lost her August 2023. Absolutely sucked. It was right before she would have been 49, November 4th of that year, and she was planning to go to Hawaii for her 50th. That's why she wanted to get in shape, and she wanted to work her butt off. And I told her, and this was April, when she decided that this was what she wanted to do, and I knew she was going to do it, and I begged her not to. But she did it anyway, and ever since, Man, I lost my sister. I lost an aunt-in-law because she had gastric bypass surgery because she thought she needed it, and her health just quickly declined. Quickly declined.
Man, we still have more to talk about with Coach Shabazz, but right now we got to cut to a few commercials, and we'll be right back.
Today's episode is sponsored by P3 Financial Group, where we enrich the lives of our clients by helping them plan, protect, and prosper. Call P3 for all your tax and financial planning needs at 901-209-4015. That's 901-209-4015.
Hey, Elevate fam. Are you a business or brand looking to get in front of an audience that's all about leveling up in life, business, and mindset? Then let's partner up. The Elevate podcast is now accepting sponsors. That means you can get your brand heard by a growing community of go-getters, creatives, and purpose-driven listeners right here on the show. Whether it's a product shout-out, an ad spot, or a custom collaboration, we've got options for you. Want in? Hit us up at elevatenowtraining.com. Let's elevate together. The content in this episode is for informational purposes only and is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the guidance of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you heard in this episode. The views and opinions expressed are those of the guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Elevate from Burnout to Bliss. And we're back for the final episode of the Elevate podcast. Today we're talking to Coach Raheem Shabazz about health and strength from the inside out. Man, we've had a good time today. So right before the break, you were talking to us about GLP-1 and when it's necessary. What else you got for us?
It's more prevalent with us as black people that we look for the fast, quick fix.
Right.
And I told you just recently, if it wasn't yesterday, that if we didn't gradually put it on, if we gradually put the weight on,
Right.
we're going to gradually get it off.
Right.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Because if we gradually get it off, you know what it's going to do? It's going to stay off.
Stay off. That's it.
You know what I mean? Because if you quickly put it on and then you quickly get it off, guess what's going to happen if you stop doing what it took to quickly? It's going to quickly come back.
Yeah. And more.
And I've seen that time and time and time again. And nowadays, I've seen more health-related deaths because we're looking for the quick fix than I want to see. And I hate it too, even more so because it's hit so close to home in my own family, and I'm like, bruh, I'm right here.
Right.
I'm right. Just show up.
Use me.
And just use me. You know what I'm saying? Please, I'm a tool in the tube. Man, listen. Close family member. One of my babies. I said, look, man, if you don't just get here. Yeah. I don't even charge family to train with me. I don't charge my family, my sisters, my nieces. And these folks out here call me the best in the business. They call me the best. Why on earth would you not just come?
Right.
And it blew my mind. And y'all can see how serious and passionate I am about. I'm about to sweat through my shirt just talking about it. But it just, because honestly, for the longest time, our people and our culture, we just make so light of our health.
We do.
And even if someone passes away, that ain't enough to flip the switch and say I need to do something. Right. That blows my mind, man. So that's where I am. And Dr. Nazardin down in Houston, Texas, is a guy that I follow very closely, and he's a weight loss surgeon. But a lot of the ideologies that he adopts, that he implements, is what I believed all along. Mm-hmm. You know, obviously, weight loss surgery is for, again, extreme cases.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But first off, you got to show this man that you're willing to work out and exercise before he even agrees to do the surgery. Mm-hmm. You got to lose 100 pounds before he even says, I will do this.
Oh, wow.
Man.
Like a lot of people expect you to say, hey, I'm heavy. Mm-hmm. Please do this for me because I'm heavy. No, you got to show that once this is done, you're going to continue to do the right thing, not just be dependent on a quick fix.
Right.
Man.
And if you've ever heard of stories where people have had weight loss surgery, lost some weight, and then gained it back.
Right.
Why did they gain it back? Because they stopped doing the thing that it took to get the weight off in the first place.
Exactly.
Wow.
And that's what happens. So, again, I'll say weight loss surgery, GLP-1, all of it is necessary for the use that it's intended for.
Right.
But the problem is too many people are abusing what it was intended for.
Wow.
Makes sense.
Yep.
So, dog, I got another question for you.
Okay.
When it comes to health, and I know I see your passion, I feel your passion, I'm bought into your passion. Tell me for you, what is at least one non-negotiable, or you may have more. When it comes to health, what's a non-negotiable for you? Like something like, hey, bro, no, we're not negotiating on that one.
Not at all. Yeah, okay. Smoking, non-negotiable.
Gotcha.
Not at all.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to hurt a lot of people with this one.
Okay.
Drinking, non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable.
I know I'm going to hurt a whole lot of folks.
Whole lot of folks.
Because when you're trying to lose weight, empty calories is the enemy.
Okay.
And our massive consumption of alcohol, especially for men, we don't understand the damage that we're doing to ourselves. Like, we really, really don't. Alcohol slows down our metabolism. It kills testosterone. And the testosterone is the biggest driver in men anyway.
Right.
Our testosterone, holy crap, it affects our strength. It affects our confidence. It affects our aggressiveness. It affects our sexual health. And then it leads to so many. Me and my pops just had this conversation because he had a form of liver cancer, and he had to have 40% of his liver removed. Wow. Doctors told him it was 100% because of the amount of alcohol that he consumed at a young age and up until he's at you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So it's so detrimental to, excuse me, and we don't even realize the damage that we're doing. And I mean, anything in moderation. Yep. But when you overdo it to the point where you just lose the control, then not only the long-term effects of it are horrible. So personally, me, alcohol, that's another one, non-negotiable.
Okay.
Sleep, non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable.
If you think because our body does its recovery work when we're asleep, and then so many health benefits of proper sleep. Our stress goes down. Yeah. You know, our concentration, our mental focus goes up. Our mood and our energy goes up. So all of this stuff is positive of a strict weight loss journey, because a lot of people, I ask the same questions with everybody. If, let's say, somebody's been coming to me for a little while, Coach Shabazz, I done hit a plateau. I ask the same questions. What did you eat? How much water did you have?
Yep.
How do you sleep? How's your stress? The exact same. They never change. I always ask those, and if 2 of the 4 are off, if 1 of the 4 are off, that's going to drastically slow down our progress. Gotcha. So it all has to be on point.
Got to be on point.
Yep.
Got to be on point. Man, that's good stuff. So let me ask you this. Obviously, the name of this podcast is Elevate. When you hear the word elevate, what does that mean to you personally?
Man, it means to level up.
Yeah.
It means to challenge yourself with something that is intended to make you better. I think I heard a quote that says, "If it does not challenge you, it does not change you." You know what I mean?
Like that.
And you got to think about it. If we're in a weight room and I can do a certain amount of weight 10 times, and I do that same amount of weight 10 times for 10 months, what progress did I really make? And I know, I'm confident that I can do that weight for 10. I know I can do that, but let's add 20 pounds to that.
Yeah.
And let's see where your confidence goes.
Right.
Your confidence is going to be a little shaken if you fail at first. But what happens is, gradually over time, my confidence grows because it ain't nearly as hard as it once was.
Right.
But then, when that becomes easier, I got to add a little bit more to it. You know what I mean? So, elevate to me, man, you have to challenge yourself to the point with the intent of growing and getting better. And I challenge my clients all the time. I challenge myself all the time. Like, if it's hard, I want that.
Yeah.
If it's a process that I thought was difficult, and you know a process that I literally just completed that was very difficult.
Yes, sir. It's not for the faint of heart.
It is not. And that's why I wanted it. Because I knew it was going to be hard. Mm-hmm. I knew it was going to be tough. And I'm like, ain't no way in the world I'm about to start this and not finish it. That's not even an option.
Right.
Whatever it is, let's get it. Because I know on the other side, I'm going to be better for it. I was speaking at Bethel University, talking to the football team, and I used 3 words: go through hell. Mm. Go through.
Not 2.
In all caps. Through hell. Mm-hmm. That place is not our destination.
Right.
It is not. That is not where we stay. That ain't the end all be all. We are just passing through.
Just passing through.
And we passing through fire now, and brimstone, and challenges, and tests. But the goal is not to stay there. The goal is to go through that. With the intent of being better and stronger on the other side. So that's what elevation means to me.
Man, that's heavy. That is heavy, man. So listen, dog, as we wrap up, I mean, we could go on and on because this has absolutely been great. This was, I tell people about you all the time.
Yeah.
But let's really get it out here right now. Where can our listeners find you, either online, what's the best way if somebody's saying right now, you know what, that's my guy? Where can they find you?
Okay, so the best way to get me is probably my Instagram.
Okay.
It's at Team Shabazz 1. All of my social media I check very regularly. For whatever reason, something is happening with my Facebook account. I can get on like I'm on a desktop, but for whatever reason I can't check my inbox on there anymore.
Okay.
So I don't check that one anymore. But and my Facebook is Raheem Shabazz. To book me for motivational speeches, I have a website, CoachShabazzSpeaks.com. Reach me through there to book me as your speakers for a speaking engagement.
Podcast.
I do have a podcast, Shabazz.
There you go.
I put on YouTube. My YouTube is a good way to reach me too. Raheem Shabazz 3800 is my YouTube page. Those are probably the best ways to reach me. Anybody that wants to sign up to be a client, to me to come speak to your athletes, speak to your business, those are the best ways to get a hold of me.
That's what's up. Now look, I want to say this before we get out too, and I'm not just saying it because he's sitting in the studio with me, but I have never in my life used a trainer ever. I mean, I was an athlete coming up, down through the years. I always thought I know how to work out, don't really need nobody, da 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 da. But what has made the difference for me is that he truly met me exactly where I was, and then just snuck in the harder work without me realizing he was sneaking it in. and the difference is showing up. It's starting to show, yield some fruit. So I'm telling y'all, man, hey, it's all I can say is it's working for me. So and for Ebony and for my girls, I mean, they knocking home runs, they doing their things. So.
I love it, man.
Yeah,
absolutely love it.
So, y'all, look, we got to get out of here. This has been absolutely insane. This has been great with Coach Shabazz. We elevating. He teaching you to build health from the inside out. Y'all reach out to him. Remember, it's time to elevate.
Wow, what an inspiring conversation today with Coach Raheem Shabazz. If you've been listening closely, you've picked up some powerful gems about what it really means to build strength from the inside out. It's not just about the gym. It's about mindset, discipline, and intentional living. Coach reminded us that your internal world, your beliefs, your values, your self-talk is the foundation of your external results. To everyone listening, remember this. Health isn't just the absence of illness. It's the presence of strength, peace, and purpose. Start within, and everything else will begin to align. If this episode moved you, inspired you, or made you think, share it with a friend. Also, be sure to follow us on YouTube at Elevate Now Podcast so you never miss one of these powerful conversations. Big thanks again to our coach, Coach Raheem Shabazz, for sharing his wisdom. You can connect with him on IG at Team Shabazz 1 or YouTube at Raheem Shabazz 3800. Until next time, take care of your body, protect your mind, and fuel your spirit. This is Ebony, and you've been listening to the Elevate Podcast from Burnout to Bliss. Stay strong inside and out, and remember, it's time to elevate.
Today's Today's episode is sponsored by P3 Financial Group, where we enrich the lives of our clients by helping them plan, protect, and prosper. Call P3 for all your tax and financial planning needs at 901-209-4015. That's 901-209-4015.
Hey, Elevate fam. Are you a business or brand looking to get in front of an audience that's all about leveling up in life, business, and mindset? Then let's partner up. The Elevate podcast is now accepting sponsors. That means you can get your brand heard by a growing community of go-getters, creatives, and purpose-driven listeners right here on the show. Whether it's a product shout-out, an ad spot, or a custom collaboration, we've got options for you. Want in? Hit us up at elevatenowtraining.com. Let's elevate together.